morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. So today I got a delivery and I'm going to show it in a minute and go over it and discuss all of that stuff. But I just wanted to quickly say really fast that, um, what I'm going to share today and what I'm going to talk about, I don't want to offend anybody. It's not meaning to be offensive or rude or anything like that. I'm just sharing my opinions or my experience or my thought process, or the things that I'm noticing about a situation. This is just completely based on my opinions or feelings. So just keep that in mind. So now I'll get started into this video and what I'm going to show and talk about. I've been really feeling lately, and for a while now, I'm going to say probably since about Christmas, I've had this really strong desire to work with the ritual tarot. I'm very drawn to it. I don't know why. I'm extremely drawn to it. I think it's amazing and it's gorgeous. I'm kind of on this like analog collage deck kick right now. So my only problem is that the price point is just insane. I know in the States, I saw a couple videos where people are mentioning in the States it's costing them $95 to purchase it, that it's a $95 deck. Okay. For me, I live in Canada. It's going to cost me, and I'm going to show you guys really fast so you guys see this. I put it into my basket on Etsy from her shop. It costs me in Canadian $132.57. It costs $39.39 in shipping, which means it would cost me $171.96 to buy one deck, the Ritual Tarot. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that I can validate spending almost $200 on a single deck. I don't care what it is. I don't care how fancy it is. I can't do it. Um, Call me cheap, call me frugal. I don't know, whatever you want to call me. I can't justify it. So my desire to work with the ritual tarot will obviously go unfulfilled, right? There's nothing I can do about that because I'm just not willing to spend that amount, right? So that's my choice and my opinion. Now, until recently, I felt that I was gonna have to wait for some, when some of the deck creators, they get decks that are considered seconds. Maybe they've been scuffed or scratched or there's something not right with them, right? So I figured if the Ritual Tarot was ever going to make its way into my collection at that price point, it's going to have to be a seconds. It's going to have to be a damaged deck or maybe a used deck or something like that, right? So maybe one day. So I started kind of I don't know, late night shopping on Amazon, just kind of scrolling through, not really doing anything in particular. And there was a deck on there that just it kept popping up in my feed and I just was so drawn to it. However, you know what, I'm just going to show it so I can show you what I'm talking about. I know everybody knows this deck, the Voyager Tarot. This deck spoke to me on so many levels, but I wouldn't purchase it because I was like, the Voyager Tarot, like, what is it, like Star Trek or something? I'm not into Star Trek. I'm not into that kind of stuff. Sorry. My brothers are, like, members of my family are really into it, but it never spoke to me. So I kept passing it thinking it was like Voyager Tarot, like it was like Star Wars based or Star Trek based or like something like that, right? And it just kept yelling at me and it just kept speaking to me and I was like, "All right, like I'm going to check it out." So I actually started researching it and I watched a couple videos on it and the funny thing was I don't remember whose video it was. I'm really sorry, but she did a comparison of a side by side of the Ritual Tarot and this deck. Now, this deck is from 1987, I believe, 1985. It's a vintage deck. Obviously, this is a reprint of it, but it's an old deck. It's been around for many years. And the funny thing is I've never seen this deck. And I have a quite a good collection going of vintage decks. So I was surprised that I had never heard of this. So in her video, she was showing like a side-by-side comparison of how similar the Ritual Tarot is to the Voyager Tarot. Except this is $30. And obviously it doesn't have to do with Star Trek. Like I totally thought it had to do with Star Trek. I'm sorry, but it was hilarious. Um so I ended up purchasing it because I thought, you know what? Like I have this strong desire to work with the Ritual Tarot, but I just, like I said before, I can't pay that amount. There's no way. I'm pretty sure like I would never live it down. Like I would hate myself for paying that. If it was 2, 3 decks, that would be something different. But it's literally one deck, and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't. I'm also hearing from other people's videos that the cardstock is not good. The ink is chipping. Like there's a lot of issues with it. So who knows? Maybe the Ritual Tarot will make its way into my collection. Maybe further on down the line. I tend to not buy first editions of things because like they still have to iron out all of their issues. I usually end up buying second or third editions of things because at that point they've kind of fine tooth combed it and they've made it quite they've corrected any issues that have arose during manufacturing, different things like that, right? So who knows, maybe down the road I'll end up buying a second, third edition of Ritual Tarot if I can fathom spending that money on it. But in the meanwhile, I bought this hoping that it was going to satisfy that desire to work with the Ritual Tarot. Now, I have opened this already, kind of flipped through it a little fast. I only looked through half of the deck, and it really honestly surprised me how similar it actually is. It kind of blew me away, and I was like, whoa, it's really similar. It has a very similar energy. Um, the backs even have like something similar to them. I don't know if the creator of the Ritual Tarot like used this as inspiration or what she did. I'm not saying anything. That's not what I'm here to do. But I just find that if you have a desire to work with the Ritual Tarot and that price point is too high for you, this is probably your next best bet. For some reason, it seems to have the exact same energy or very similar energy, right? And I haven't even touched the Ritual Tarot. It's just from me watching videos on it, listening to what other people have to say, and just my initial feelings and reading on the energy that I get when I see it. I follow the creator of the Ritual Tarot on Instagram. Her artwork is lovely. Wherever, like whatever her media source is, she's got a little jackpot there. Like I don't know where she's getting her magazines or her like where she's getting her stuff to do collage work, but like she's really lucky for the amount of resources that she was able to find to do that. And her stuff is very beautiful. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm still extremely drawn to it. Just I feel like this might fill that void until I'm able to figure out a way to get my hands on a copy of the Ritual Tarot without breaking the bank. This deck, or the guidebook, sorry, to this deck it's pretty good. I read it briefly. It's got some good stuff going on in it. It's your typical little book, right? But it's got quite a bit of stuff going on in here. It talks a lot about a lot of different stuff, and it's got some different like note pages and different like exercises that you can do and ways to use it. So I don't know, really interesting to me. Actually, cool little book. Now, to get into these cards, they are your typical high gloss, right? Um, they're not the best cardstock, but they're not the worst cardstock. It's okay. It's average. I guess it's what you would kind of expect on a mass market deck. Um, Now, I don't know about the original copy that was released in the 80s, but the reprint in the 90s, they had white borders. And if you look at the back of the box, they're still showing the white borders. I was really hoping that it was going to show up with white borders, but in a lot of the videos I was watching on it, it did have this green borders. So I knew this was coming, but I was hoping this was coming. So these are this is the way it looks from the 90s when it was reprinted again in the 90s. And I don't know if this deck really speaks to me, and I really, I mean, it already is really speaking to me, but if it's something that I really want to chase down, maybe I'll be able to find one of the 90s copies on Etsy or on eBay. Sorry, I had it left my brain. eBay, and maybe I can find one right with the white borders. The green borders are okay. They're not horrible, but this deck the artwork would have really popped if they did remain with the white borders. I do wish that the imagery was just a little bit, like the picture was just a little bit bigger, because this is pretty big space down here. And I do like the size and how clear the print is. That's awesome. I just wish that this was moved down a little bit and this picture was just a little bit bigger and took up more of the card, because there is so much going on in here. There's so much to take from in these images, and there's some weird stuff in here, but that's okay, because sometimes the weird stuff really gives you what you need in a reading, right? So I don't know. I'm really quite taken by this deck. Once again, it's full of, I'm going to say they use National Geographic magazines as their main source. I mean, obviously other sources, but there's so much nods to, ancient Egypt um, and Hindu and Tibetan and just everything. But I get so much out of these images. When I was flipping through it this morning just to see if there's any damage or anything like that done before I started doing this video, I was just getting like sucked right in. And I was like, wow, like you can get really lost in this deck. And the thing that I like about it too is it adheres close enough to the Rider-Waite system that you can still read it as a Rider-Waite deck, but it's really honestly its own thing. And it has like its own little structure. I did notice there was some cards under different titles. Um, and you'll see as we get on deeper and deeper, it just it can be used as an oracle as well, right? Um, But I don't know, it's really cool. It's like ancient world versus animal world, and it includes like futuristic imagery, weather elements. Like there's a lot happening, and but in an amazing way. Like I really do enjoy it. Now, there was one review on Amazon where this person said that she felt that the images were a little not super clear. And I can agree with that. But I feel like it's because of the age of the deck, one, and two. You got to remember back in the 80s, the magazines and stuff weren't printed at high definition. High definition wasn't a thing. So I feel that the artwork, it's the way that it looks. It's the way that it was created. Like I said, we did not have high quality printers. We did not have HD. We did not have 4K. We didn't have those things. And if you look back at the older magazines of that time, this is very, very much what the images look like. So I feel the fact that they're not 100% crystal clear, there is a little bit of blurriness to them, a tad of a blurriness. I feel it's just, it comes from the way that things were printed back then, right? Um, but there is, like, I get lost in these cards. This card right here, this death card, I don't know. I like when I saw this, I was like, whoa. I don't know. It just, it gives me all the feels. It's just an amazing deck. I'm really excited. Really excited. And I do feel that it's going to fulfill that that desire that I have, or that want to work with the ritual tarot. I feel like this is going to kind of fulfill that for me, at least, you know, to the most that it can, not being the ritual, right? And the funny thing is I don't even know why the ritual tarot calls to me the way that it does. If you've watched any of my videos recently, I'm pretty new to the analog collage world. Like I said, besides the tantric dakini, I think the I just recently got the Lioness Oracle and the Stars Divine, and I think those are my only three analog collage decks that I actually have. Um, and then now this one, but I'm really pumped to get in after this video and start working with this deck. I don't know. It's amazing to me. There's so much going on and so much to pull off of, and just the color palette of each card is just so well done. Um, there's a fluidness to it that just works. It works for me. I don't know what else to say. This time and space card is really interesting. Um, it's in the place of the Judgment card. Now, the only thing is that I'm like, what the heck? I'm trying to figure out what the heck this is. And it looks like an animal, like, drinking out of water, but, like, I can't tell, like, what kind of animal it even is. Or if it's a person or a statue. I don't know. It's bugging me. I gotta figure out what that is. Yeah. And, like, if you look in the book, like, it talks about, like, what the statues are, and, like, this is Michelangelo's, The Awakening Slave, but I think in here they say it's the Awakening Giant. It's not complete, right? So when you start getting into the imagery and just reading stuff, it's quite amazing. I believe there is a bigger companion book that you can buy that goes along with it. But there's a lot of information in this little book, so I don't know. I think I'll be good with it. I don't think I'll have to search out and look for the other bigger book. These two of crystal, or sorry, not two, the crystals are really quite beautiful. Like how they just collaged all the crystals and stuff. But if you notice at the top, they have these wonderful keywords that go with it. So that's what I was saying. Like at the end of the day, you can really honestly ignore that and use it as an oracle and just pull off of these cards. Like if you're having, or sorry, keywords, if you're having a hard time tapping into, or maybe you find it overwhelming, and you're having a hard time like intuitively tapping into this, as far as a tarot, you can turn it into an oracle very easily. But I feel like I don't think there's going to be a problem intuitively tapping into these cards, because there's a lot going on. And I mean, even down to the crystals. I mean, knowing what the crystals are and what the properties, or the um, metaphysical aspects of the crystals and what they bring in, that's going to give you a lot into this world as well too. But I don't know. I feel like the keywords just go with it. Like the keyword on this one is confusion, and it's like just so much busyness going on in this crystals. Like it's just it's very soothing to it. I'm like, I haven't even shuffled this deck. I haven't even started working with this deck. And I'm just like, this, like, I don't know. It's speaking to me like a lot. I think it was Lisa Pez, who did like a really deep dive with this deck and had quite a personal experience with this deck. I think that was her video that I was watching on this as well too. And like I said, this is a deck that has been around. I'm sure it's on YouTube everywhere. Everyone's seen it a million times. But it's new to me. And I literally just got it this morning. And I can't wait to dive in and just get into this world. There is some like weird little things. There was a couple, I don't know if I've already passed it. There was a couple where words where the titles were not completely centered, and the picture, like this picture is pretty centered, like it's not too bad, but the printing or the font, I guess you should say, was not centered, and I was like, whoa, like it was pretty noticeable. And I can't even remember. I think it was one of the majors, to tell you the truth. But I don't know, like I'm just like I'm seeing astrological stuff, I'm seeing elements, I'm seeing animals, I'm seeing planets, star systems, different ancient cultures, like nods to different ancient cultures. You know, there's cups, there's crystals, like in all the cups card, there's cup cards, like there's cups in all the cup cards. You know, there's nods to water and fishes and all that different stuff. So I don't know, like I said, I'm really, and like look at all of them are broken, right? And it's got like ancient pottery hanging out in the middle. There's so much to take off of. There's a lot going on. The 6 of Cups. This is a beautiful card where it's pouring out these beautiful flowers and there's like a waterfall here. Once again, you have this old pottery, and then there's like the mountains up here. Like they're just really beautiful. And like this looks like it's under the ocean, and like this is all like coral. And I'm not going to hold on the cards very long. Like I'm going to kind of flip through them pretty fast because like I said, I'm pretty sure everyone's really honestly have seen this deck. And if you haven't, you got an extra 30 bucks. I highly suggest you buy it because it's really neat. And like there is some things, like these older faces in here. Like there is some weird things where you're just kind of like, well, that's really strange. But when you look at the image overall, it works. It somehow adds its own layer to this card that is, something that you can pick off of, something you can use. And I find it very refreshing that there is, pictures of elderly people, because tarot very recently, I'm going to say within the last, under the last 10 years, it's become a very, all the images is youth and beauty and perfect and these flawless female figures, or these, flawless male figures. And I feel that, in some decks, yeah, honestly, that's fine, whatever, it works. But I feel that some decks, you need to, it's about embracing all of our life, all of the different phases in our life, the different ages, as our youth to our, older years. And I feel like we need to see, I always call them silver haired beauties, but we need to see like the silver foxes, right? And like the silver haired beauties. And we need to see these images because that's part of life, right? So I feel like the tarot of nowadays kind of forgets that and kind of leaves it out. I'm really liking this with all of this here. Like all the blue and like the coolness of that card and the keyword reflection, like amazing. We've got nurturing with all of these fruits. But see, like this here, like this is blurry, but that's because this is a picture of a ram in motion, right? So it's whatever they cut it out of, because like this is crystal clear, this is crystal clear, this is crystal clear. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's just whatever magazine they've pulled it from, right? And like I've said before at the beginning of the video, we have to keep in mind that this deck was created in 1985. Let me see. I keep saying, let me see what we got here. I think it's 85. 86. 86 was the original edition. Second edition was done in 98, and then this was reprinted in 2017. So we have to remember, in 1986, there was no 4K, there was no HD, there was nothing like that. So you're going to get the quality that things were printed back then, right? I mean, I'm sure they could put this through and like digitally clean it up, but do you really want to do that? Like I feel like um the energy of this deck and the beauty of this deck is that vintage feel. So I really honestly don't feel like, I feel like this is fine. But like I did say, I wish they did have the white borders that it did in 98, and I wish that the images were a little bit bigger. This deck would be crazy if they did it borderless. It would be insane. And have like your titles and your keyword, but like make it borderless. It would be insane. So if any of the creators or the people who own the rights to this deck, if you want to make it real cool and real crazy, blow it up without borders. Because that would be insane. This is such a cute card, Harvest, and it's got like an autumn fall feel to it. And it's got like all the little nuts and like beautiful baskets and squirrels and leaves, and that's beautiful. I really like the energy. Like I said, like you can feel they did a really good job at capturing the energy of each one of these keywords that are with these cards. Oh, and I guess I should look. Worlds. I'm not sure what worlds are. Let's see what we. I should probably look and see. I don't even know if they say it in here. I'm sure they do. I just gotta find it. Crystals is the mind, so it's swords. So crystals is swords. Worlds would obviously be pentacles then, which makes sense. They're round, right? The world being round, pentacles being round. I get the association. I got it now. And it's all coins and wheels. If I, you know, that card was a good indicator of what's happening. I don't know. I'm really excited to get in and start working with this. I don't know. I really enjoy the like the retroness of it. So I was born in the 80s, obviously, early 80s. Um, and so this kind of, I don't know, kind of takes me back, right? Obviously, some of the images I see, I'm like, it's reminiscent of like that time frame, you know, the energy's there. But I really like this. I think this will be easy to work with. And I like the fact that it has the option of using it as an oracle. And like it has fantastic words. I mean, fantastic keywords. I do, I really like it. Look at all the musical instruments. The Eight of Wands. It's beautiful. And it's weird, but this color actually kind of matches. I would have thought that it would maybe, I don't know. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was kind of like, ugh, like I didn't want this green. I wanted the white borders, which I mean, I still might hunt down a copy and get it, like I said. Um, but it's okay. Like it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I feel like if you trimmed it, I mean, I'm not really into modifying decks. but you would pretty much get the whole back onto the cards if you trimmed it correctly, right? So I feel like you could trim it down and just make it without any titles or anything. You would have to really study this deck to have that, though, without any titles or keywords. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like it does adhere pretty close to the Rider-Waite system, even though it does do its own thing. I feel like we've got Rider-Waite system, we've got its own thing, we've got the fact that it can be an ear oracle. It just has so much going for it, and you have right there's your, your black cat that goes with, the Queen of Wands. And they say Woman of Wands, Man of Wands, whatever, same thing, right? King, Queen. But yeah, so that's the Voyager Tarot. Now let's give her a little shuffle up here. I've been waiting for this. I'm like super excited. Um, I want to see it in action, but like I usually do, I really separate it, and I don't like riffling. I want to. I'm like, "Ugh," and then I'm like, no, I don't want to wreck my cards. I'm weird about it. And see, and that's why too, my nail just hit this card and just put a ding in it. So the card stock is obviously not going to be as durable, but that's okay. It happens. And this is a mass market deck, and it's at a very affordable price point. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if I end up destroying it later on down the road, or, it doesn't wear and tear as good as I was hoping it's going to, that's okay, because we can rebuy it. But I do think, like, I think I'm going to end up hunting down a 90s copy. I think I'm interested in that very much so. But what I like about these decks and these card stocks is you can just work with them. You're not worried about it. They're affordable. They're readily available. You don't have to really worry about damaging them too much, right? And if they, like I said, like if they do get damaged, who cares? So these are the ones that usually end up being heavy users, because you're like, yeah, I'm just going to use the hell out of this deck because it's affordable to replace and to take care of, right? Or sorry, replace, not take care of, replace. Shuffle is really nice. I'm an overhand shuffler. I really enjoy doing that. Got a little bit of suction, like the cards are sticking a little bit, but it's because they're so flat and they're so smooth. It's just creating that suction between them, and that with wear and tear, that'll stop. I just want to see, like, I'm not asking anything in particular. I just want to see them kind of laid out all together. So quick little spread here. This is always so all over the place. Okay. So, like, I don't know. The Tower's been stalking me. It's like my stalker card, and it is not a card that you want stalking you. I'll tell you that. I don't know. I really like it. It's busy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff to look at each one. But I'm not happy. Was it not the last, like, I swear to God, I'm going to have to go back and look. But I swear, the last 2 or 3 videos that I've done like this, the Tower card keeps showing up. And I'm just like, why are you following me? Why are you stalking me? This is not a card that I want stalking me. By no means. I don't want the Tower. Like, go away. Don't want none of what you're selling. I'm just going to do one more. And I'm trying to think, like, what I would even pair it with. Now my decks are, like, right here beside me. most of them. So that's why I'm always like, seems like I'm talking off the camera. It's because whether it's looking at decks that I can pair it with or the cats getting into stuff. I have 3 cats. 2 of them are 6 and are litter mates. The other one is, he's a year and a half. His name is Cedar. He's a monster. He's really bad. But they're always into stuff or they're like fighting and the youngest one, Cedar, doesn't get along with the other 2 very well, so they're always squaring off and doing dumb stuff. And I always have to break it up and, you know, the world of cats. Hmm, I do like them though. I really like the images. But could you imagine if these were all white borders or if these were borderless? It'd be amazing. Absolutely stunning. I'm trying to think like what I have that I would even pair it with. Um, that would match its energy. I'll have to spend some time doing that and looking at that. There's just so much going on. I would want like a card that's kind of more minimal. Like if I was to pair it with an oracle, it would be one that's more minimal. But at the same time, this might end up being a deck that I don't even pair. Like I don't pair all my decks. Um, I feel like some tarots just work better on their own. And they're clear enough and direct enough that they don't need an oracle with them. And I feel because this has such amazing keywords on it, do I really need an oracle to pair with it? Probably not. But yeah, so this is the Voyager Tarot that does not have to do with Star Trek. Because that's honestly what popped into my head. I was like, Star Trek. That's weird. But no, it's not. It's an amazing deck. And I feel that it is going to kind of fulfill that desire to work with the ritual tarot. I do think that it's going to fill that craving for me. Um, I can't wait to get in here. I'm going to read the book. I want to see what this world is all about. These creators, what they created. There's just so much in this little book. There's different um, like mapping your direction, making a decision reading. Like it's like a little workbook. It's got like all these really interesting layouts, like a whole self mandala. Like how cool is that? So yeah, like I can't wait. Um Business has gotten a little bit on the quiet side, which is okay. I don't mind when I go from like really, really, really busies to like, pull your hair out, running around like a chicken with your head cut off busy to, nice and quiet. And then back up again and then back down. So it's kind of like it's a small business roller coaster, right? So right now, um, it's a little on the quiet side, which I'm perfectly fine with because it gives me time to get into stuff like this, as well as maybe develop some little workshops and little things that I want to do for the summer ahead. Um, I also got like a pretty decent shipment in of tarot card decks that came in. I've got pretty much all the Danielle Noel decks now available. I just have to take pictures of them and post them and upload them into my system. So, I've got the Moon Child, the Star Child. I have the Shadow Edition is the pre-order is in and that'll be coming. I believe they said they're planning on shipping mid-May. So that'll be here probably by June. So I'm really excited about that. I would like to see what's going on with that Shadow Edition of the Moon Child. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. If you into Instagram, find me on Instagram. I've got 2 accounts. I've got Indigo Moon and Soot and Salt. Soot and Salt is my online store, my YouTube channel, and like my world of tarot and oracles and divination. And then I've got Indigo Moon, which is my brick and mortar location where I teach Reiki and we do workshops and I give Reiki. It's that side of things. So I've got 2 separate stuff going on. Find them both, like them, follow them, see what's going on. I love meeting like-minded souls and just, creating that beautiful spiritual community. Thanks for joining in. Enjoy the rest of your guys' day. I'm going to be diving into the world of the Voyager Tarot, and I can't wait. I'm super excited to do this. So thanks for dropping in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.